Welcome to Focus on the Five, conversations with Baldwin County business leaders and entrepreneurs, brought to you by Josh Knoll of Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. And now, Josh Knoll.
Hi everyone, welcome to Focus on the Five, conversations with Baldwin County, Alabama area entrepreneurs and business leaders. I'm your host, Josh Knoll of Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. We're coming to you today from the studios of WABF 1480, located here in beautiful downtown Fairhope, Alabama. My guest today is an entrepreneur at heart, having established a collection of businesses along the Gulf Coast that work with businesses to consult, grow, and secure their business while also managing all of their technology needs. It could be from website design, social media marketing, SEO, and so much more. A lot of big words I don't even fully understand. But with all that said, let's give a big welcome to Mr. Phillip Long of BIS Technology Group. Phillip, how you doing?
I'm well. Thank you, Josh.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, you and I have talked a little bit before, and I think how we want to kick this off is for the folks that are not familiar with BIS Technology Group, what is it? What do y'all do?
Really, in a sentence, it's business made easy. What I found through the years, we started this company in 2001, and as as technology's changed and really the demands of technology has increased greatly, and really even the risk of technology, our company has evolved. We started off as an IT company doing what we would call break fix. Mm-hmm. Somebody'd have a computer problem, they'd call us, we'd run out and fix it.
Right.
And through the years, we've kind of evolved into a managed service provider, which is basically a proactive approach to manage and monitor networks so that we're on the on the front side of a problem rather than the back side of a problem. And through the years, we started a marketing company where we do digital marketing, websites, search engine optimization, social media marketing, and an office equipment company where we're an authorized Kia, Sierra, Canon, and Hewlett Packard, HP dealer. And recently, a few years back, I started a consulting firm where I do really mainly compliance consulting and cybersecurity risk assessments, which is really taking a look at a business to make sure that they're in a position to be prepared for the cyber threats that are we can't turn on the news without hearing somebody getting hacked. So
we're definitely I want to circle back to cybersecurity because I think that's a hot button right now. Would you agree?
Oh, very much so. It's probably, I've even changed my whole thought process from a client standpoint of telling people, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think that's the right approach as far as from looking out for people's sake, because there's a lot of documentation that needs to be in place so that if or when the event happens, you want to make sure that, from a legalese kind of terminology, you have done your due diligence and you're practicing due care would be what your attorney would tell you that you need to do. And to help companies just, ultimately be in a position, what I say, to win in case or when something happens.
Well, with that, are we talking large companies every time getting attacked? Who all gets attacked?
That's the whole thing, is that it's not, although there are some very targeted, what they call spear phishing attacks, where they've done their homework. The bad actors have done their homework, and they are targeting the CFO and the CEO, and they're trying to maybe either spoof or either actually get their live emails so they can watch traffic to determine when to ask for the wire transfer or to really exploit that fully. But the way that these automation tools work for the bad actors to scan networks, a lot of what they're doing is just fire and forget. Although, again, there is another side that is very targeted, but it's a real threat and a risk for everybody.
Does Joe's Plumbing on the Eastern Shore, they have anything to worry about? Cybersecurity attacks?
From a realistic standpoint, yeah. For them, I would say their biggest threat or risk would be, ransomware, and that's ultimately where it usually comes in on email. Although they are shifting to where they're embedding these malicious softwares in websites. Right. Basically, email comes in, you click, you execute the file that encrypts all of the data on your computer. And it gives you a pop-up and says, hey, if you want your data back, send me some Bitcoin, some anonymous money to this account, and I'll give you the key to unlock your files.
Man alive. Well, all right. So I know we can't get super specific, but how do you help small businesses around here prevent that, or at least handle that?
Sure. Most small businesses around here, or a lot of small businesses, they have desktop antivirus. That's their protection.
Right.
And, we have what we call a defense in depth strategy. And it is where there's multiple layers of security, a firewall, some cloud-based security, email security, which is, 80-something% of successful breaches come in on email. So there's some strategies and some approaches, some of which we use software and tools to filter the traffic or look at the traffic to protect it. And a lot of it's awareness. I mean, it takes a broad spectrum, because they call it a multi-threat vector, meaning there's multiple approaches that they're trying to hit you with. So you need to have multiple ways to protect yourself.
Right. No, and I say Joe's Plumbing, my line of work, anybody, it really doesn't matter what you do nowadays. You have a tremendous amount of information stored on some type of electronic device.
Certainly.
And especially with small business owners, I would assume, especially the ones that run the cards through the systems and things like that, I mean, I would imagine there's a severe threat there if somebody were to get their hands on that. You hear about the big stories like Target and all that, but I would imagine a lot of your clients, need that protection as well. Fair enough.
Everybody needs the protection for sure, and of course, I'm a realist, and I recognize, you're in the financial planning industry. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of really great data from a bad actor perspective. They would see that as much more attractive than Joe's Plumbing. But like I said before, a lot of it's automated, and they're just trying to encrypt people, and hopefully they don't have a good backup, and it's cheaper to pay them $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 than to, if you got a $100,000 work in progress as a company, or you got a big accounts receivable, that you got to have the data, the QuickBooks database in order to see who owes you the money.
That and the embarrassment.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, I would say it's fairly embarrass somebody, especially if they catch somebody that is really competent in all forms of their life. Cyber threat doesn't discriminate. I mean, they can get through to even people like that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even people that are ultimately trying to do it very well, like that are trying to protect. Goldman Sachs, I think they spent $500 million.
That's a B. That's a big B.
Big B. Yeah, right. You understand that number.
Yes.
I don't quite get it, but you do.
Yeah, I think a congressman said one time, well, you take $1 billion here and $1 billion there, and now you're talking real money.
Yeah, that's right.
Now you're talking real money.
So we're talking real money, and they got hacked.
Yeah.
So again, it's really, we need to take the approach, and I mean, for the listeners out there, they need to have some documents in place, from some standpoints of having an acceptable use policy that the employees sign, and a internet usage policy, because the shame about it, and I always use this analogy, we're sitting in here in the studio in the fine town of Fairhope. Mm-hmm. If somebody went in there and busted out your windows and stole your briefcase out of your car, the police would be here, everybody would be saying, oh my God, Josh, this is terrible, this is, we're going to catch this guy, and it's whatever, and feel sorry for you. But if you lost your client's data, their personal identifiable information, and they were exploited and all, nobody would feel sorry for you. They would look down on you, and it would damage your reputation. It
would look like carelessness.
Yeah, irresponsibility or negligence is what the two words that come out whenever it comes to cybersecurity, and it really shouldn't be that way. Now, we live in a sleepy market as it relates to technology. I have to be honest about that. I'm out in the market every day. I've been doing this for 18 years, and some of it is people's head in the sand. I always say, look, we can't be ostriches about this. Right. But some of it is they really just don't know. So
Agreed.
I'm the CEO of these companies, but it don't stand for Chief Executive Officer. It stands for Chief Education Officer.
Love it. Perfect. All right, well, I know you from one of the companies. I found you through BIS Designs. So if you don't mind, what does BIS Designs do? Because I think that's one of your more retail-facing parts of your companies.
It is.
Okay.
That's right. Basically, our niche per se is small to mid-sized companies, and we help them with marketing websites. And there's some factors that you want to have in a website, call to action, a good crisp image. It's really changed a lot over the years. The websites, they're not where you got to have 50 pages and 5 million words. It's more about, they want to get what you do immediately from an image. They want to know what you need to be telling them from your website, what they need to do. Do you want them to call you? You want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to buy something right there online? And we also do social media that is a driver to the website, and then search engine optimization, which is really, the easiest way to explain it is you want to rank high on Google.
Right.
You want to be on the first page within, really statistically, within about the first five links on Google, because what happens is if people don't find you quickly, they change their keywords and search for something else. Right. So that's ultimately what we do, and we try to drive market results to drive revenue for the companies that we serve.
Well, all right, so you try to help companies overcome obscurity and being found on Google search. Yes. What is something in 2019 that the average business owner may not realize about their website or their SEO, or some things that a company like yours could correct fairly easily that would help improve their searchability results?
I tell you, from a standpoint, you got to have a site that is mobile friendly.
All right.
Meaning that it shows well, it displays well on an iPad or a phone.
Why are we all looking at our phones? What are you saying?
I forget what the stat is, but it's nationally it's 70% usage is on phones.
Oh, have you ever thought if you could go back in time and transport your 1999 self and just walk around Fairhope or any town, all the people staring at this thing in their hand, how strange that would look.
Yeah.
But because we're all doing it, no one thinks it's weird anymore.
That's right.
But people walk down the street not even looking where they're going, and I'm guilty of it too sometimes, obviously. Yeah. So
it keeps us, it all goes together as far as even tying back websites to cybersecurity. We're also busy. We have so much ability to be productive.
Right.
With that little device in our hands. That device is so strong, and we got our head stuck in it. And in one regard, we might be gaining more productivity, right, but we're losing some things too. I think.
Oh, I'm as guilty as anybody. I had the old BlackBerry. I'm old enough to transition to that, and I would read articles on it, websites and all that. If you put one in my hands now, I wouldn't be able to see it. It'd be too small a print, right? How things
and
it'd
be unattractive compared to what you can get on an iPhone nowadays.
What we're recording this on. Yeah. So, well, all right. So, how does what is something a local small business owner calls you up? What's something that a lot of times you get called to come in and help do? What's kind of like a door opener for you with small businesses?
Sure. I'll just think back to last week. Had a client moving offices, and they needed some help. Okay. They have to, they're moving offices. They got to change internet providers. They needed new phone system set up. They were they happen to have new computers. One thing that's important, I think, today for our listeners to hear that they may not know is that Microsoft is going to end of life Server 2008 and Windows 7 in January of 2020. So we've been on a campaign with our clients for over probably about 15 months trying to get all this gear out of there, because what it means basically by not being supported is that they won't make security updates for those devices. Right. And you're eventually going to have to change if you're going to use that in a production environment, because number one, for a while they'll get more and more vulnerable. You're liable to get hacked with it. Right. But then, like your QuickBooks, the new version of QuickBooks, if you're running QuickBooks, is not going to run on Windows 7 and so on and so forth. So it's going to be a forced out. But a lot of people don't know. I'm very surprised that I go into some very large offices and they're still running 7.
Well, and I was forced to transition a while back because of security. I had to go from 7 to 10 because of the security gaps.
That's right.
That's a great point.
You're also in a particular market that is very security conscious.
Oh,
your guys are driving you all day long to be more and more conscious.
Oh, I get a little report every morning. And
that's right.
If it's not a really high score, I know I'm going to get a phone call, which it always has been, everybody watching. All right, so let's, on that note, let's take a quick station identification break. For those of you just joining us here on WABF 1480, this is Focus on the 5 Conversations with Baldwin County, Alabama entrepreneurs and business leaders. I'm your host, Josh Knoll. I'm joined today by Phillip Long of BIS Technology Group. All right, Phillip, I'm going to pivot here. I know you well enough to know that relationships and giving are very important to you. Why don't you describe what drives you in business and personal?
I've really kind of, I started off as a really go-getter, ambitious, curious. I've always been curious. I bang out a couple business books. Every once in a while I'll do a pleasure book, something I like, that.
When you say bang out, you mean write?
No, read.
No, read, got it, okay.
No.
Right.
No. I've only written one book, but I am an author, and I've listened to on Audible. I'm very much an Audible learner,
okay, and
it's very helpful because I drive a lot. But I'm curious. I'm a very curious kind of person, and I was growing my knowledge and my skill set, and I was really focused on money for a lot of years. And what I have really grown to see is that I've got about as much stuff as I want, because every time you buy something else you got to maintain it. Right. You're actually buying a headache to some degree, and but I just don't find as much pleasure in that stuff, I guess. And really, I want to be a go-giver. I want to be a guy that is helps people. It really has simplified my life a lot, in my focus not being on myself but being on somebody else. Right. It makes you happy.
I agree.
It really does. And it's doing good for the community. I love this area. I've lived here all my life, and I built my third house. I just built and moved into in Silver Hill.
Nice.
So they're within a mile of each other, probably as the crow flies. So I love the area, and I think it's something that we have a good area, and we need to be conscious of that, because a lot of places had good areas,
right,
and people didn't focus on the right thing, and they slid.
Things can deteriorate quickly.
Absolutely.
More quickly than people
One
realize.
generation.
One generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
20 years, I'd say, even the way society moves now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and on that note, I think with this area, I've said this before on this show and other areas, that I feel like this Eastern Shore, Baldwin County, this general Gulf Coast area is very supportive of entrepreneurs. Did you feel that way when you started out? Do you feel like you had people kind of pulling for you and helping you out? Or did you feel like it was just a total uphill battle in the beginning?
That's a good question, because I've really never really thought about. I certainly didn't feel like I had a headwind against me.
Right.
I felt very, I'm thankful for our freedom and the ability to do, what you get an idea and you can execute it. So I would say, it's been supportive. The local people here are really, I think, some of the greatest people on the planet live right here. And I want to join amongst their ranks and see this next generation of entrepreneurs coming up, and build a platform and have it to where it's really friendly for business. We're a little sleepy on the technology side here. I think there's some areas, and that's kind of my mission, is to show business owners, entrepreneurs, how to make business easier for them, so that they can focus on what they're doing and not on the things it takes to do it.
Well, okay. So speaking of business goals, how has your business goals changed over the years? Because you've built this into a big, legitimate, viable company, right?
Yeah.
And when you first started out, did you have the exact same vision? Did you have the same goals? How's that changed over the years?
I would say, as far as the vision, hasn't changed a ton as it relates to being able to make business easy. Right. And the things that touch the wire, that's what we used to always say, the things to make them work well together, because the reality is if you have a company that's maintaining more of the technology, it's actually easier for that company who maintains it, as well as the company that needs it maintained. Mm-hmm. Because if certain things play better together. If you have a certain type of internet, you need a certain type of phone system, and so on and so on and so on. So but again, my vision was always to help business, to grow my company while growing other companies and helping them. But I think my focus has turned more inward into my employees, my staff, and really trying to help them be I don't want to say, it may sound cliche, or I don't know what it sounds like, but better human beings.
Sure.
Help them to be more prepared. And I basically have some buckets of some areas of life that I think are crucial for people to be successful. And we invest money, enrichment, employee enrichment programs where we are investing people to help them, understand, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And you can't, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink, but you can sure make it easy for them to drink.
Right.
And ultimately, that's my goal, is internally with my staff, is to grow them up. And the beauty of it is that in doing so, I'm seeing great results with the response from my clients. My clients see it, and we spoke on this earlier. I want to win, win, win. I want to win for my client, I want to win for my employee, and I want to win for our company. And if we can answer yes to all those questions, that's probably something we need to be doing.
Love it. Well, you also said something that if I walked into your offices and repeated some mantra that they hear it a few times. What was that?
Yeah, delegate, elevate, and automate. That's I kind of come up with these year-long themes,
right,
and to stay on task, to stay focused. We talked earlier about, the world is just so many distractions.
Right.
And,
noise.
Yeah, noise. Absolutely.
Coming at you nonstop.
Yes. So, I want to delegate things that are in people's wheelhouse that they're good at. I want to give it to them. I want to elevate them to the level of they got all the resources that they need, and they're taking on as many tasks and responsibilities as they are good at. And then I want to automate, and like saying with marketing and with technology, there is a lot of tools. If you looked at the technology industry as a whole, the two main driving forces are big data, meaning that they're able to store large amounts of data,
okay,
and then ask questions of it,
okay,
which is artificial intelligence,
right,
automation.
Right.
And so there's a lot of tools out there that help us do that.
Perfect. All right, so this is the fun part, Lori. I didn't warn him this question was coming. 25-year-old Phillip Long walks up to you with questions about being an entrepreneur, about being a business owner. What do you tell him?
Wow.
Not that you're way older than 25 for the radio.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's only 5 years ago. Yeah, but I don't know. I think I would tell him that your focus, and I think I would actually have gone further on if my focus would have been on people,
right,
more so than activities, tasks, and things of that nature. If my focus would have been on really raising up a bunch of people to be more engaged, involved, and educated and understanding of the bigger picture. That's what I think I would tell myself is, my mom always told me, slow down, smell the roses a little bit. I think I probably would have slowed down and smelt the roses with some people.
Right. Well, I know I was very young when I would hire certain people, and I look back now, and all I was trying to do was duplicate myself, which means I was just duplicating my weaknesses. Yep. As opposed to finding people that probably could do certain things to a level I wouldn't even comprehend, right?
Yes.
And if I could have walked up, I'd have said, "Hey, you got to quit gripping it, and find talented people." And it sounds like you're trying to help them be the best version of themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And, we spoke earlier about the, meritocracy,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I don't believe that it would work at a large scale in a company, but I think basically the concept of having people that are better than you in areas,
right,
and that's who they are. That's what makes them go, and get them the match of the responsibilities with their abilities, and that's fuel for their engine. And, it's like, we talked also about how quick the week goes by. It's because
right,
I'm loving what I'm getting to do right now. And time flies when you're having fun. And that's the life I'm living right now. There's plenty of challenges in it. I'm not saying there's no challenges, but I've got a team around me, and I'm equipped to take on those challenges and power through them.
Perfect.
That's to me, that's very cool.
Oh, you're sitting in the sweet spot. Yeah, you're singing in harmony. How do you get word out about your services?
We do a lot of social media. We do a lot of like we're big on Habitat for Humanity. We do some stuff like that, and you'd be surprised people see that. Also do lunch and learns. Okay. On a quarterly basis for the companies, and then I do like what I call business builder webinars on a monthly basis. And those are very productive because, again, like I said, most people don't really know what's out there, and you have to educate them. So through educational purposes has been the very best means. And then, of course, just word of mouth.
Business Builder webinar. People find it on the website. And
Yes.
what are they going to learn in 30 seconds or less? What are they going to,
Sure.
what can they get from it?
This coming up, I believe it's next week, and I should know the exact date, but if they go to askbis.com, they can search around on there and find our BIS University. And I'm going to have the police chief, David Wilson from Foley, and we're going to talk about active shooter and robbery gone bad and kind of really a cybersecurity posture as a law enforcement officer would see it.
Okay.
You know, we see people all the time, they're posting, they're on vacation and all this stuff on social media. They're basically saying, hey, my house
we're not
is,
home.
Yeah, my house is open. Help yourself.
I love it.
That's just one. I mean, I've had my CrossFit coach because, you know, it's essential that we take care of ourselves. If we're going to take care of others, you know, we have to be able to take care of ourselves so we're able to take care of others. I've had my tax guy on there talking about stuff. And again, that's really just giving back to the community on things that I've learned that I think, hey, man, the average business guy, entrepreneur, he would benefit from this. So we do these things.
Well, and that's why I wanted to really dive in as we did on the cybersecurity, because the average business owner doesn't realize, myself included. I mean, it's forced on me just simply what I do, but if I had a business outside of my industry, I think I'd have a lot of questions. So on that note, how do people get a hold of you? They have questions.
They can. My email address is plong, P-L-O-N-G, at askbis.com. And my phone number is 251-405-2555.
Okay. Why don't you that phone number one more time and then the website?
Sure. Phone number is 251-405-2555. And the website is askbis.com.
Okay. Where are y'all located? I know you have a couple different locations.
We do. We got a little small office in Pensacola, Florida. That's really just a little hole for us to do work on and kind of hang out. But we have our main office is in Robertsdale, Alabama, right there across from the high school, and we have an office in Mobile over on Mont Lamar, next to the Telebox building.
Perfect. People can also find you on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Sure. Facebook, LinkedIn, you know, Twitter, you know, on all the channels. It wouldn't be hard probably to find
YouTube,
us.
probably.
Oh, YouTube. Yeah, we have a large YouTube channel. There's really a lot of good information.
Right.
I've made some YouTube videos about cybersecurity, about things that are extremely like the things you ought to be doing. You know, I call it the recipe for success, where it's do this, you know, add the milk, put in the sugar, you know, put in 2 eggs, kind of things to help companies.
Perfect. Anything else you want to add?
No, not really. I appreciate what you're doing, Josh. I think that you're definitely you know, a help to the, you know, to the 5, and that's a good thing. And I appreciate
that. I really appreciate that. I appreciate Lori as well, because she's helped take this thing to another level. So
yeah,
much appreciated. Well, if you're a regular listener of the show, then you know that we also film our conversation and release it across multiple social media platforms. So I need 2 favors from you. One, if you see Mr. Phillip Long anywhere in this area, let him know you saw or heard him on this show. That's kind of cool. It's fun. And 2, if you know someone that would be a good guest, or maybe you want to come on and do something with your own company, you'll find my contact info at the end of this show. In closing, I want to thank my guest, Mr. Phillip Long of BIS Technology Group. You did a great job for joining us today, as well as all of you out there listening. I am Josh Knoll of Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. This has been Focus on the 5, and I want you to have a great day. Thank you.
Wow.
Nice.
Thanks, Josh.
Boom. All right, that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to Focus on the 5. If you are interested in learning more about Josh Knoll and Gulf Coast Financial Advisors, you can find us at gulfcoastfa.com, call 251-327-2124, email josh.knoll@gulfcoastfa.com, or message us on Facebook. Focus on the 5 is produced by Josh Knoll of Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. Advisory services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Inc., a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Pro Equities Inc., a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA and SIPC. Gulf Coast Financial Advisors is independent of Pro Equities Inc. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. Focus on the 5 offers commentary and generalized research, not personalized investment advice. Show content is for informational purposes only and does not constitute a complete description of our investment services or performance. All investments involve risk and unless otherwise stated are not guaranteed. Be sure to consult a tax professional before implementing any investment strategy.